Constable Rosen laughing. I don't know if that's good or bad. Good evening, everybody. I want to also thank Hallie Vanderheider, who has been a sponsor of this program tonight on the PowerPoint, but we forgot to mention my name, so thank you. Good evening. It really is so wonderful to have you all with us. I join Dominique in thanking all of you. I want to thank her, of course, for being with us 3 years in a row, the Crime Stoppers chairs and honorary chairs, all my friends here tonight, the Crime Stoppers team who worked so hard to make this event possible, Paige Hollick, Cavell Wood, Carly Gray, Nicole Kristoff, Tanya Cruz, Mimi Zaranchansky, who I've worked with for 6 years, and I just learned today I've been saying her name wrong this whole time. And our entire Crime Stoppers family, thank you all. Normally, I stand here and talk about the work of Crime Stoppers, but I'm not going to do that tonight. Because today, this city, a wife buried her husband, a father buried his son, 3 beautiful children buried their father, an entire community lost a symbol, law enforcement lost their brother, and we lost a hero. All because a cold-blooded individual, someone who should not have been on the streets, had the means and the freedom to take a life and commit this heinous crime. We all say enough is enough, but in honor of Deputy Dhaliwal and the many victims and victim families we work with daily, we must have an honest conversation. So I'm going to spend my short time with you talking not about crime statistics. I'm sure there's a very lively debate happening right now on another stage, talking about crime statistics with our mayoral candidates. I'm not going to talk about crime statistics because no matter what, crime is a constant in every community. But rather, I want to talk about the state of crime and specifically whether or not the nature and severity of crime is changing in Harris County. I and many of our community partners are saying yes. And while the life laid to rest today and the circumstances around his killing, if you really examine them, are enough of a case in point. The fact is, our team has actually spent the last few months looking at this very issue. We've come up with many factors that lead to our conclusion that, yes, the nature and severity of crime is changing. I will share only 3 with you tonight. 1, criminal activity is continually advancing. Criminals are operating under a hierarchical system with advanced business practices. Their recruits are younger, more violent, and more brazen, attacking people, places, animals, homes, and establishments with boldness. Thanks to technology, their reach is exponentially increasing. From weapons to the internet, we're seeing another level of depravity. Number 2, law enforcement agencies are stressed in the current environment. While they are comprised of absolutely the best and led by leaders doing everything possible to thwart criminal activity, it's no secret that they need additional manpower and increased technology to combat these changes in criminal activity. Daily, they deal with the effects and costs of untreated mental health. Beyond that, in some cases, they are arresting and re-arresting the same person multiple times, which is further draining their already strained resources. Add to this that they are increasingly interfacing with groups that see them as targets rather than the heroes that they are. And while our law enforcement will always be stronger than anything they face, we have to realize that they are under pressure and so are their families. And third, last but not least, there's an important discussion actively taking place right now in Harris County pertaining to the punishment of criminals and their experience throughout the criminal justice system. The consequences, or the unintended consequences of those conversations have people asking whether or not violent felony offenders are serving the proper time or facing the appropriate punishments for their crime. And if they are not serving proper time, or facing appropriate punishment, if they are being released back into the communities, what does that mean for our quality of life? It's a packed issue, and one we encourage everybody to look at. The factors alone, when mixed together, are alarming and do speak to the nature and impact of crime. As consequences continue to unfold, people are concerned. Deputy Dhaliwal's death alone has the public asking these questions. Are criminals being emboldened? How many others will be victimized? I'm getting the calls from parents who can't believe that traffickers are now approaching their children at the local Starbucks, school, church, or park. Calls when children have officially gone missing. Traffickers are thriving, all while victims are being branded, drugged, and raped by pimps and buyers in the middle of our neighborhoods. The criminality of it all is advancing. Crime Stoppers through our Safe School Institute and Safe Community program is educating people in record numbers and using the tip line to identify suspects, but I still get asked, if those who are guilty are found, what punishment will they face? I'm getting calls from owners frustrated that their businesses are being burglarized at rates that double or even triple their counterparts in other cities by perpetrators who storm in at all hours of the day, sophistically removing and reselling products almost instantly. Crime Stoppers works with the community. We work hard on supporting security measures, training staff and shoppers, but again, as victims are repeatedly victimized, people are asking, what is the long-term solution? I can go on about the calls from worried parents, about people who are concerned about abused women, children, or animals, or about the neighbors terrified by a horrific home invasion next door. Why are these things escalating? These are the questions I'm being asked. When is enough really enough? I hope Deputy Dhaliwal's historic life and tragic death will push this conversation into action. Crime Stoppers is not afraid to have the difficult conversations in a respectful manner or share community's concerns. But more importantly, we're going to do everything in our power to create and contribute public safety solutions and legislative remedies. Thanks to each of you, our program will continue to study, talk, and offer solutions. We'll continue to serve law enforcement through our tip line, working to help them find violent felony offenders. We'll support our DA, our Harris County judges, and others to support meaningful justice. We'll work with the victims through our Victim Services and Advocacy program. We'll work with students through our Safe School Institute, and the community through our Safe Community program. And we'll continue to take issues to our state legislature to ensure the protection of every man, woman, child, and animal living in the Houston area. In closing, I'll add that just as the community comes to us, leaders come to us. We're proud to be working on various issues with the city and county officials as we lead the way to a safer Houston. We're proud to be working with the governor's office on school safety, leading the way to a safer Texas. And soon we'll be going to DC, working at the federal level on human trafficking and leading the way to a safer nation. All of this is possible because of each of you. We so sincerely thank you for being with us this evening.